Let's go get a win. This is our house. Our house. Let's get this win, baby. Here we go. Who say? One. Who say? One. Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win. Come on now. Let's go, man.
From the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, it's week 16 of the NFL on CBS. Today, the Jaguars and Saints meet for the first time since 2011. Here's a look at the updated playoff picture in the AFC. Houston is up big on Tennessee late in the fourth quarter. As soon as that game goes final, it would knock Jacksonville out of the hunt in the AFC South. With that, we say hello, everyone. Happy holidays from all of us at CBS with Steve Tasker and Steve Berline. I'm Andrew Catalan. About to become official that Jacksonville will be eliminated from playoff contention, but it doesn't take away the improvement this team has made this year, specifically at quarterback. Second-year QB Blake Bortles has taken some major strides forward this season.
Well, you look at his numbers, and he's near franchise records in all the major categories that you would look at a quarterback, and he's done it in just his second year. He has made huge strides. He's the kind of player they want. He's getting the production they want. You're going to see Blake Bortles in Jacksonville for a long time, but today he doesn't have his leading rusher in TJ Yeldon or the top tackler for the team in Telvin Smith. This is a Jaguars team that is hobbled by injury. We'll see if they can get it done here today, knowing they're out of the playoffs for the first time this season.
Saints also out of the playoff picture, but Drew Brees wants to keep playing. He ruptured his plantar fascia in his right foot on Monday night against the Lions. He's in a lot of pain, but he did practice each of the last 2 days, and he wants to be out there with his teammates. He'll get the start.
And this is a guy in Drew Brees that does not miss football games. In his 10 years here in New Orleans, he's only missed one game, and that came week 3 of this year for a shoulder injury. But that ruptured plantar fascia, very, very painful. But the good thing for him, no risk in making it any worse by playing today. He's worked on it the last couple days. He knows how to get it warmed up before the game. He's gone through his routine. The Saints don't expect there to be any problem with Drew Brees, and that's not good news for Gus Bradley and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Jacksonville won the toss. They have deferred, so the Saints will start with the football. Jason Myers will kick it away. And we are underway at the Superdome. New Orleans will start at the 20-yard line. And here comes Drew Brees, listed as questionable. But as we just told you, it was important for him to play today. Wanted to be out there with his teammates, and a nice ovation from the fans here at the Superdome.
Yeah, a lot of speculation about how important it is for him to finish a season the way it's gone for the Saints this year. A lot of people in New Orleans think, man, why take a chance on getting him hurt? He's too valuable to the franchise, but it's not up to them. It's up to Drew Brees, and he wants to play.
Ready? Let's go.
And on 1st and 10, Brees looking to throw over the middle, incomplete. Drew Brees has thrown a touchdown pass in 52 straight home games. That is an NFL record. And he threw 3 touchdowns in the second half Monday night against the Lions. And that was after he had ruptured his plantar fascia.
Ready? Let's go.
Brees looking to throw again, and this time he connects with Brandon Coleman for a New Orleans first down. Marcus Colston not playing today because of a chest injury, so we'll see a lot more of Brandon Coleman.
Now, it doesn't seem like you know who Brandon Coleman is, but this New Orleans Saints team, they keep finding these receivers. Brandon Coleman, 6'6", 225-pound, first-year guy out of Rutgers. We watched him on the field yesterday practicing. He is a specimen and a guy you're going to be hearing a lot of over the years.
First run of the day for New Orleans goes to Tim Hightower, and he picks up 2 on the play. A big surprise today for New Orleans as C.J. Spiller is inactive. He's a healthy scratch. We met with Sean Payton, the New Orleans head coach, yesterday, and he told us that after Spiller's knee surgery over the summer, he's still not up to full speed. Doesn't have that same burst that he saw in Buffalo. They had a long chat, a good productive chat this week. He sat down C.J. Spiller today and may not play him again week 17, so he can just focus on next year. And first down yardage for Tim Hightower, who will see the bulk of the carries today with Spiller sidelined as a healthy scratch.
Well, this is a guy in Tim Hightower stepping up, taking advantage of his opportunity. Last couple weeks, over 180 total yards of offense. He's really done a nice job stepping up and fitting in for Sean Payton, Drew Brees in this offense.
Saints move into Jacksonville territory, 1st and 10 from the 49.
Mike 3-7, Mike 3-7. Go. Ready. You ready, Bashak?
Hightower is hit and stuffed, and that's Hayes Pollard getting the start today for the injured Telvin Smith, the rookie out of USC, with a big hit on Hightower.
Well, we talked to Paul Posluszny and Gus Bradley about Pollard. He's going to get that start, and they said, well, he's not as fast or as athletic as Telvin Smith, but he's got incredible instincts, and he's a very, very strong tackler, just what you'd like in a linebacker.
And it helps that he was unaccounted for and not touched on that play. Came in the backfield and took advantage of the opportunity.
Loss of 4 on the play. It's 2nd and 14. Brees has time and throws this one over the head of Shontavious Jones, who was just elevated off the practice squad on Friday. It'll be 3rd and long for New Orleans. Saints have gotten off to some fast starts this year. They're plus 35 in point differential in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think a good quarterback gives you that. Drew Brees is just so good in the pocket, particularly coming out. He's so well prepared coming into these games, and that was one of the issues with the incredibly abnormal schedule they kept this week. He was really concerned about his ability to get ready.
On 3rd and long, they dump it over to Hightower, and Hightower across the 45, but short of a first down. Let's update you on the playoff picture with some of the 1 o'clock games going final. And as you take a look, both the Chiefs and the Jets have won today, so Kansas City has clinched a playoff spot, and Pittsburgh, with a loss to the Ravens, falls out of the hunt for right now, and it also gives Cincinnati the division.
What a story the Kansas City Chiefs are. After that start, Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit for keeping that team together.
Saints going for it on 4th down. They are 9 of 14 on 4th downs this season. Brees throws wide open as Cooks has the first down and more. Brandon Cooks inside the 20. And again, the Saints convert on 4th down, a gain of 23.
Well, not sure. You're going to see Brandon Cooks right there in the slot. Look how wide open he is. Completely caught Jacksonville in a bust there. Not sure who was at fault as far as dropping coverage, but that's about as easy as it gets in a situation where you figure the Jaguars wanted to really challenge their receivers.
Yeah, that's a totally blown coverage on the outside, and Drew Brees saw it. Had plenty of time to let it develop. Easy throw.
And that catch puts Brandon Cooks over 1,000 yards receiving on the season. Just his 2nd year out of Oregon State. Tim Hightower on 1st and 10 gets a couple. Saints have a lot of success in the red zone this year. They're 70% at home, 62% overall. And Drew Brees in the red zone this season, 17 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, they're always solid in the red zone.
Even this last week in their loss to Detroit, they had 3 touchdowns in the red zone that were called back. 3 consecutive penalties took them out of the end zone. They are really good down close.
Hightower goes in motion to the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 7. Brees looking end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Michael Ho'omanawanui in the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the year.
Well, that's just confidence that Drew Brees has in Ho'omanawanui. He just threw that football up. Ho'omanawanui wasn't looking for it when Brees let this go. Look, Brees looks to his left, then comes back and throws it right away behind the defender. If Cyprien is looking. It's an interception, but Breeze knows he's not going to.
Jared Odrick injured on that touchdown pass, and he slowly walked off the field. They're working on the big defensive end now on the Jacksonville sideline. Touchdown is good. Here's Forbath for the point after, and that makes it 7-0 in favor of the Saints. Drew Brees, 4 of 6 for 70 yards on that drive, and it was Ho'omana Wanui getting in the end zone for New Orleans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Amazon Fire TV, change the way you TV. And by the Acura Oh What Fun It Is to Drive event.
Back in New Orleans, an impressive start for the Saints. 10 plays, 80 yards, capped off by the touchdown by Drew Brees to Michael Ho'omana Wanui, his 3rd score of the season. So now Kai Forbath will kick off again this week with the punter Thomas Morstead still battling a bit of a quad issue. He is still punting today, but not handling the kickoff chores as Nick Marshall takes this out to the 26-yard line, and we go back to the touchdown.
Well, you're going to see Ho'omana Wanui right here at the end of the line of scrimmage. All he's doing is going to run straight up the seam, but I want you to look at the safety right over the top of him, Jonathan Cyprien, and what Drew Brees sees right now when he freezes, he looks this way, he sees that Cyprien has got his back to him. No longer can he make the play on the ball. He's got no safety help over the top. A quarterback in the NFL, when he sees the back number of a defender with no help over the top, that's an open receiver to him.
Julius Thomas in motion. Bortles in the shotgun on 1st and 10. Quick pass to Thomas, makes the catch, gets by 1 tackler, and is brought down at the 30-yard line. Blake Bortles, 31 touchdown passes on the season coming into the day. That was 5th in the NFL and is a new franchise record for the Jaguars.
Really a breakout year for Blake Bortles. The numbers he's putting up, never seen really before out of a Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, of which I was one. I didn't get a chance to put many throws up there.
You were the first one.
Bortles has had the breakout year, though.
Denard Robinson. And Robinson will be about 4 yards short of a first down as we take a look at the starting offensive line for Jacksonville. Luke Joeckel in his 3rd year. Gus Bradley says he's been consistent this season, and you just saw Robinson on the carry. He'll get the bulk of them today. As we told you already, TJ Yeldon still out with a sprained MCL. Well, the Jaguars have gotten off to a lot of slow starts this year, and on their opening possessions this year, they're just 26% on 3rd downs, which is what they have right here, 3rd down and 4. Opening drive for the Jags, trailing 7-0. Bortles hit as he throws, caught by Marquise Lee. First down for Jacksonville. Lee out of bounds right around midfield for a gain of 17. Delvin Breaux forced him out of bounds.
Well, that's huge for the Jacksonville offense. This is an offense that really has focused on 3rd down this week. Last week against the Atlanta Falcons, 0 for 8, only 2 for 17 on 3rd down the last 2 weeks, including 0 for 11 both those games in the first half. They really focused on it, paid off right there, converting their first opportunity.
Back to Denard Robinson on 1st down. Robinson with some room, and Robinson across the 40, and a late flag comes in. Our referee today is Ronald Torber.
He's going to come back with a hold on Jacksonville.
Holding. Offense number 89. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. A look at the New Orleans defense, and Cameron Jordan leading the team with 9 sacks on the season, the 5th-year man out of Cal. Donnell Ellerbe is out today because of a hip injury, so David Hawthorne will start in his place at outside linebacker. And Brandon Browner, in his 6th year, leads the NFL in penalties this season with 24 whistled against him.
And he knows Gus Bradley very well from his previous stops.
Rashad Green with not much doing on that first down play. Gus Bradley coached Browner in 2012 with the Seahawks. Gus says he's very physical at the line of scrimmage, and when you're that type of player and you play a lot of press coverage, sometimes the penalties will come, but certainly more than New Orleans and Browner have wanted this year.
Well, he's more of a throwback type of a safety. You know, back in the days when Steve Tasker and I played, there was a lot more contact allowed from the defensive back. Nowadays, they get called if they get overly physical with those receivers.
6'4", 221, Brandon Browner, one of the captains of this New Orleans defense. Bortles and Robinson dropped it. So Denard Robinson fumbled twice last week, although Jacksonville recovered both, and here he's not able to make the catch. It's 3rd and long.
Well, he's just going to step out. This is a developed screen you're going to run when you got a long way trying to get half of the big yardage back. But this has been a problem for Jacksonville. We talked to Gus Bradley. They've been so poor on 3rd down because they haven't been good on 1st and 2nd down. He said we've got to be better in the early downs. Of course, they got the holding penalty, and it all evolves into a 3rd and 17. You can't win like that.
Allen Hurns makes the catch in space. Hurns to midfield. And Hurns gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, but Jacksonville will send out the punt team.
Well, you hit it dead on, Steve Tasker. This Jacksonville offense not being productive enough on 1st and 2nd down. Last week when they were 0 for 8 against Atlanta on 3rd down, their shortest 3rd down situation was 3rd and 6. They didn't have any short yardage situations whatsoever, and it's just too hard to convert at this level when you're looking at those odds every time.
Brian Anger will punt, and back deep is Jairus Byrd. And before they could get it off, a flag comes in, and this is going to be another penalty, a false start against Jacksonville.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Yeah, you see on this drive that Jacksonville got a couple of 1st downs, and one of the reasons they had Denard Robinson on 1st and 2nd down getting positive yards. They ended up with a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4, converted it. That's a lot easier to do than that, 3rd and 17 or 3rd and 8 plus. You just can't do it. But early in this drive, Jacksonville was getting it done, and then they got the penalty, and it was a self-inflicted stall again.
His latest penalty on Clay Harbor backs up Anger 5 yards. Byrd with a fair catch, he'll let it bounce. And it sits softly, and it's downed by Demetrius McCray at the 2-yard line. Saints will be backed up when we return to New Orleans. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, has a long history of honoring players who have significantly impacted both the game and their communities. Each NFL team nominates 1 player for the award, and 3 finalists will be announced in January. This year's nominee for the Jaguars is Zane Beadles, and for the Saints, it's Benjamin Watson. You can see who will win the award at the NFL Honors from San Francisco on CBS coming up February 6th. On 1st and 10, Breeze looking to throw and just throws this one away with pressure coming. Alou is bringing the heat on Breeze.
I question any time with Drew Brees with that ruptured plantar fascia. Now look at how he's struggling just trying to get moving out there. I really question that call anywhere in the field, especially back in your own end zone.
Yeah, he's
Very
not
risky call.
He's not moving well, and he let us know he's in some serious pain. And to have him designed run, even roll out or nakeds or boots, I'm with you. It's a bad idea.
Sean Payton said he was going to limit the amount of bootlegs today, but we see one here in the first quarter as Hightower gets a couple. It'll be 3rd down and long as we look at the Saints offensive line, and some changes today as Zach Strief is missing his first game in 2 years, so Andrus Peat starts for Strief at right tackle, and Tim Lolito slides in at left guard. And then Brandon Coleman, we mentioned, with Marcus Colston out today because of a chest injury. You'll see a lot more of Coleman.
Now, you hate to minimize the loss of Marcus Colston, but getting this guy on the field, Brandon Coleman, as many reps as he can, it's going to make him that much more dangerous as he grows in his NFL career.
Coleman watches 3rd and 8 from the sideline. Breeze has time and completes this pass to the fullback, Austin Johnson, who has a first down. It's been a problem of late for the Jaguars, the lack of a pass rush, and Brees had all day on that third down throw.
He certainly did, and he looked, and that's about Drew Brees. Watch, his eyes are going to come this way and stay there, and at the very last second, he's going to throw the football right out here. He looks, and the defense is so manipulated by what his eyes and his body language do. He leaves the receiver open on a simple little flat route.
Brees has 5 completions to 5 different receivers as Cooks takes this one in a minimal gain. Chris Clemens follows him out of bounds. That leads us to the Jacksonville starting defense. And Roy Miller, in his 7th year, having a nice season, a career high 3 sacks for the Jaguars this year. You already saw him make a big tackle for a loss. Hayes Pollard starts in place of the injured Telvin Smith. And Aaron Colvin is starting today for Jacksonville, but he's been battling the flu the last couple of days, something to keep an eye on for the Jaguars.
One of those 12-hour bugs. They were pretty confident he'd be able to play.
Interestingly, Dwayne Gratz is a healthy scratch today. A former 3rd-round pick, not on the field. Brees in trouble, and Brees is sacked, but a flag comes in from the secondary. Dan Skuta is the one who brought Brees down. Let's see what the penalty is back at the 34-yard line.
It looks to me like the Saints are going to get a break. Drew Brees held this ball way too long back there.
Holding. Defense number 31. 5 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Goes against Devon House.
It's Devon House, and this was a coverage sack. There was nobody open up the field. You see, there was a snag on the jersey right there of Willie Snead. Kind of trivial, incidental, in my opinion, but if they see any kind of stretching of that jersey, they're going to throw the flag.
Yeah, it's automatic.
3 first-quarter penalties for the Jaguars already, as Hightower is spun down after a 1-yard gain. Andre Branch on the tackle.
Yeah, that's excellent run defense up front. Every defensive lineman picks a gap, takes it, and the running back just kind of keeps trying to pick an open spot, and there's just a defender in every one. And the further the play got cut back, the more defenders showed up. It's just great run defense by the whole front for Jacksonville on that simple little play on first down.
Hey, check. 5-1. Ready. You ready, my son?
Again, it's Cooks. And again, it's Chris Clemens at 34 years of age, chasing down Brandon Cooks, just 22 years old.
Well, this is Brandon Cooks now. Whoever's chasing him is going to have a hard time catching up with this guy. 7 touchdowns in the past 7 games after just having 1 in the first 7. He was the 4th receiver taken in the draft last year, behind a few names you might have known. We're talking about guys like Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham. Those are the 3 guys chosen ahead of him. All 4 of those guys very productive in their 2nd year.
On 3rd down and 4, Brees from the shotgun. Brees completes it along the sideline to Travaris Cadet. He was claimed off waivers from San Francisco this week, a former Saint, and he picks up the first down.
Well, you're going to see Cadet. He's going to swing out in the backfield. He's just going to swing out over here. He's going to kind of trail down the line, and Drew Brees gets the ball to him. No one, they get kind of caught up in coverage. You see number 52 right there, Hayes Pollard, going out there to try and cover him, but gave him just too much space, and Drew Brees is going to take advantage if you play a soft coverage like that.
Brees is 6 for 9, and all 6 completions to 6 different wide receivers. It's 1st and 10 with 2 on the play clock. Brees has to take the snap, just gets it off. Looking to throw again. And a flag is down as Brees completes it to Cadet at the 45-yard line. And this is going to be a hold against the Saints.
Holding. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That goes on Ho'omanawanui. Drew Brees in his 10th season with the New Orleans Saints. And what a career it's been now for Brees. All-time leads the NFL in completion percentage, 4th in passing yards, 4th in passing touchdowns. And he is 1st after Monday night in 300-yard games. He had his 94th 300-yard passing game in the loss against the Lions on Monday night, 1 more than Peyton Manning all time. So the penalty makes it 1st and 20. Again, the play clock winding down, and Hightower on the carry. Trying the right side. Hightower with a flag down again, gets across the 35. Dan Skuda on the tackle. Let's see what Ronald Torbert has to say here.
Holding. Offense number 84, 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Back-to-back holding calls on Ho Manawanui.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to start the game.
Well, he started it with the touchdown. That's what he wanted. But
that's right.
I think Sean Payton's forgotten about that touchdown, or he's now saying, what the heck are you doing out there, man?
Well, this is if it's a roller coaster, the touchdown was the up, and the 2 holding penalties is the down.
From an announcer's perspective, we've certainly gotten our fair share of Ho Manawanui here in the first quarter.
Yeah, there's no dodging it.
One of those names where you hope the number of times you have to pronounce it is minimized, but not the case.
So it's 1st and 30 for the Saints as Breeze completes to Cooks. And Cooks to the 24-yard line.
Well, back on the Drew Brees subject, though, I mean, you look at what this guy has done over the course of his career. Absolutely spectacular. On paper, this guy, no one expected him to be the impact player that he has been, up near the very top in all those career categories and so many more. But the most amazing one to me is that in his 10 years, we talked about it in the open at the Saints, he's only missed 1 game. And that came this year in week 3 due to a shoulder injury. His durability is as impressive as all the numbers.
Turns 37 next month. On 2nd and long with a flag down again. Breeze completes that to Willie Snead at the 35-yard line, but had a lot of laundry on the field here late in the first quarter.
Yeah, consecutive plays. And this is going to go against what looks like Jacksonville with the official talking to Drew Brees.
Offside. Defense number 91 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Goes against Chris Clemens with 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
You talk about this New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees behind him. He's hobbled. So are the guys ahead of him. Teron Armstead, left tackle, is really kind of gutting it out today as he's been limping around already out there. But it's going to be a real question to finish this game off. You see there Armstead there. He's giving it a go. He's got a bad knee, was limited during practice during the week, and they deactivated an offensive lineman to get him in there.
Brady's taking a deep shot down the field for Cooks. He's got him. Cooks is in. Touchdown, Saints. A 71-yard score.
Well, you see Nick Marshall right there. He's the one in coverage, and Drew Brees, a pretty smart quarterback. We're going to tell you why. You see Cooks is going to go right by him. Nick Marshall got a little bit lazy right there. You'll remember Nick from his position as quarterback at Auburn. He's now a converted defensive back, playing very well. Gus Bradley really touting his ability to make the transition, but right there, no match for Brandon Cooks.
Well, Marshall still very raw, as Steve mentioned, the former Auburn quarterback, and he's become the nickel corner here late for the Jaguars in the season, and Brandon Cooks just ran right past him to make it 14-0. Drew Brees already with 2 touchdowns. It's 14-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Crunchwrap Sliders, 4 full-size flavors only at Taco Bell. And by New York Life, here to help you keep good going.
Some great food down here in New Orleans, and right now Cooks is cooking up something special. That's the longest catch of his career. He now has 8 touchdowns in his last 8 games, and Drew Brees with the 103rd multi-touchdown game of his career since joining the Saints. And New Orleans has jumped out to a 14-0 lead. It is Marshall who is burned for that touchdown on the return, and Marshall with a nice job getting to the 30-yard line with 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Jags offense coming back out. If you thought your fantasy season was over, it's not. Play for free and you could win a trip to Super Bowl 51 in 2017. Join today at NFL.com/playoff challenge. 20 seconds left. in the first quarter. Saints lead the Jaguars 14-0. Play action on first down. Blake Bortles. He's gonna keep it himself and run out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Well, the Saints have done a good job in the first half of games this year, specifically the first quarter, outscoring the opposition 114-65. And as we mentioned earlier, this has been a big problem for the Jaguars. Slow starts, and once again, after one quarter, they trail by 14 points. That'll do it here in the first quarter. We'll return to New Orleans after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Start of the second quarter at the Superdome, and the Saints out to a 14-0 lead on the Jaguars with Steve Berlon and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalan. Happy holidays from all of us at CBS. To begin this quarter, Bortles looking at second down and 5. And it's a handoff to Robinson. And Denard Robinson tackled at the 39-yard line, a yard shy of a first down. What an improvement this Jacksonville offense has made this year compared to last year, specifically in points per game.
Yeah, no
last year, dead last.
Yeah, that's been a huge improvement, as well as the touchdowns. Of course, Blake Bortles, 31 touchdown passes for this team. The future is nothing but bright, but make no mistake, Blake Bortles does have some things he needs to get cleaned up, most importantly the interceptions. Great job done by Greg Olsen there, the offensive coordinator. He's been in the rookie quarterback business before. Now he's got a good one.
He was with Derek Carr last year in Oakland on 3rd and 1. Jags on the ground, and they move the chains.
You know, Andrew, you mentioned as we see the pickup here on the 3rd and short, much easier for Jacksonville to be successful in this type of a situation. But we talked about New Orleans and how they've outscored their opponents in the first quarter by 35 points on the season. Every other quarter, they're negative 39, so minus 117 from the second quarter through the fourth quarter, directly related to how poor this defense has been playing, much more so than the offense.
It was Jonas Gray picking up the first down, claimed off of Miami's practice squad last week, and he remains the running back on 1st and 10. Bortles play action, wanted to go deep, nothing there. Now fires, and that pass is deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Bobby Richardson, the rookie defensive end, with the first interception of his career.
You know, what a play by the rookie.
He's going to save that football off the deflection. Richardson with the pick of Blake Bortles. Bobby Richardson made the Saints with an impressive preseason. He was undrafted out of Indiana, now his first career interception.
Watch Elvin Breaux comes, and we were all surprised that this wasn't pass interference on Breaux. Climbed up behind as Robinson was coming back to the football. It wasn't called, turned into an interception. You got to live with it if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hightower on first down as the Saints try to capitalize off that turnover, and Hightower picks up 3 before Michael Bennett makes the tackle.
And that, I'm sorry, Andrew, I was going to say that turnover is indicative of what has really held the Jaguars back this year. They've made some incredible improvements, but Bortles has thrown too many interceptions at critical times. And despite all their improvement, the one thing they have not done is clean up the interceptions and the turnovers.
Ready? You ready for shot?
Hightower again, nice moves. Hightower to the second level on a first down for the Saints. What a story. Tim Hightower did not play for 3 years after a serious knee injury in October of 2011. He tore his ACL. Became infected, it didn't heal properly, he had all sorts of issues trying to get healthy. Saints brought him in for a tryout last year, didn't sign him, brought him in a futures contract in January.
65 is
he was cut right before week 1, but re-signed with the team in early November. And he scored his first touchdown in 4 years 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay. Getting an opportunity with Mark Ingram on injured reserve, and Hightower loses half a yard there. Aaron Colvin on the tackle.
Yeah, Hightower is going to be the base running back today. He'll also be spelled a little bit by Kendall Hunter as well, but it's a little bit by committee. When you start losing guys to injury, even the C.J. Spiller injury being a healthy scratch, you know, you start handing it around, because once you get down in your roster, guys do certain things well and teams start to put in packages for them. So you get these guys going in and out, but no question Hightower is going to be the guy going forward today in the base package for the Saints.
Double. You ready?
Movement on the line, flag is down. This is a free play for the Saints. Breeze, as pass is incomplete. He was looking for Josh Hill. Jonathan Cyprian, the closest one there, but Breeze knew that he had a free one coming.
There's also might be a second penalty as well.
Offside. Defense, number 96, 5-yard penalty, second down.
It's on the rookie Michael Bennett out of Ohio State.
Yeah, right over the football, and that's. Yeah, I don't know why that infuriates coaches, because all you got to do, the ball's right in front of you. Watch it. If it moves, then you go. That ball didn't move, and he did.
Jaguars average 6 penalties per game. They already have 5 in the first half.
Come back. Go over there. We're going like 5-1. Ready.
Puzzluzny calling out signals to his defense. Jaguars appear to be a bit confused, bringing a blitz. Breeze gets rid of it to Hightower at the 20. Hightower still going. Hightower is tackled at the 1. Jaguars defensive coordinator Bob Babich says if you blitz Drew Brees, he is very dangerous, and that's exactly what happened there.
Well, this is the right play call, just a screen pass out to left. But look at Puzzluzny and Pollard, very confused. I think the loss of Telvin Smith right here for this ball game, the rookie playmaker who could really excellent coverage sideline to sideline, great speed right there. Pollard was confused the whole time. They had no support coming up on that screen pass. Pretty easy success play for the New Orleans Saints right there.
And now we have a stoppage as Ronald Torbert.
First charge, timeout, Jacksonville. This is a 30-second timeout.
So the Jaguars call timeout with 10:40 to go. First and goal for the Saints when we come back. On first and goal, Hightower up and over for a touchdown. So the interception by Bortles leads to 7 points. Well, 6 right now. It's 20-0 in favor of the Saints.
You nail it, Andrew, though, with the blitz they came with on the play previous to the touchdown over the top. Hightower goes in for the score. The play previous, though, Jacksonville rolled the dice, did come with the blitz, and their lack of coordination defensively is what gave up the big play. That's a situation where you'd like to think that Paul Puzzluzny, with his experience and the number of years he's been in the league, when he realized there was confusion, he has the freedom to check out of a blitz like that, because when you're coming, like you said, you're leaving some areas exposed if guys aren't on the same page.
Forbath for the extra point, and it's good. What a first half for the Saints, getting it done on both sides of the football. The interception by Richardson leads to the Hightower touchdown. It's 21-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Volkswagen. And by Dirty Grandpa, in theaters January 22nd.
Following the interception by Richardson, Tim Hightower, a 1-yard touchdown run to give the Saints a 21-0 lead in this their home finale of the 2015 season. Blake Bortles and the Jaguars offense getting set to come back out on the field as Forbath kicks it away to Nick Marshall. And Marshall will take a knee. Jacksonville will start at the 20-yard line as we take a look at the updated playoff picture in the AFC. What a wild day as the Jets beat the Patriots in overtime. So Kansas City, with their win over Cleveland, they clinch a wild card spot. The Jets now jump ahead of Pittsburgh for the final wild card spot. The Jets are 10-5, Pittsburgh 9-6, and the AFC South not decided yet. Houston has the leg up on Indianapolis, but both are still alive. Going into Week 17, the Jaguars have been eliminated from playoff contention because of the Houston win over Tennessee. On 1st and 10, Bortles, deep shot down the sideline for Robinson, makes the adjustment, and was he in? No, out of bounds. Great job by Robinson to adjust and come back to the ball to make the catch, but he was out of bounds. It's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he didn't finish the process of falling there. He'll come down and he would be in bounds, but when he goes down, Delvin Breaux rips this out, and there's the ball. He's got it, but he doesn't have it, and he loses it, and as we all know, there's no way that's a catch in this day and age. He's got to possess it inbounds and then finish the process, and that ball comes out.
Green is shot.
Bortles to Robinson, and Delvin Breaux with great coverage to limit Robinson to just a 1-yard gain. Meanwhile, the NFC playoff picture with some of the early results in. Carolina no longer undefeated. Now 14-1 after Atlanta knocked off the Panthers, and that means Atlanta stays in the hunt with Minnesota set to play the Giants later tonight.
And truly, I think that loss by Carolina is the best thing that could have happened to them. I really believe that a team young like them, undefeated going through the season, you get that invincible mentality. Getting chopped down a little bit makes them more dangerous.
3rd down and 8. Blitz coming from the outside, and Vaccaro wraps up Bortles. 2nd sack of the season for Kenny Vaccaro, and the Saints force a 3-and-out.
Well, the pressure comes. You can see the line here. All those guys across the line. You don't know which ones are dropping out. And as it turns out, they had enough protection, but they didn't know which guys were going to blitz. The 2 guys that the offensive line thought were going to blitz dropped into coverage. The confusion resulted in the sack.
Yeah, you give the scheme credit there. I think Dennis Allen, the new defensive coordinator for the Saints, deserves some credit for the design there.
Cadet will return this with a flag down, and Cadet is brought down hard at the 41-yard line. Another penalty comes in. Saints are last in the NFL, giving up 30 points per game. But so far, Jacksonville not able to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Jaguars have not been able to.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 20 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down. Timeout.
They've not been able to match the intensity to this point of the New Orleans Saints.
Saturday, CBS Sports hoops it up with a triple header. First, Ohio State and Maryland square off in a women's Big Ten bash. Next, the Volunteers tangle with the Tigers in the SEC, and then Baylor throws down with Kansas. It's all right here on the road to the Final Four, CBS Sports. The Jags with just 2 first downs. New Orleans already with 3 touchdowns here in the first half. 9:01 to go, 2nd quarter. All New Orleans so far. Drew Brees back on the field already with 2 touchdown passes and 196 yards passing. And another penalty.
False start. Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
This one goes against Willie Snead, who's having a fantastic first season in the NFL at Ball State.
Yeah, no reason to draw this one up.
Not very proud of himself on that one. You think anybody saw me?
Yeah, he taps on his chest. That was me. Yeah, it was you.
Sammy, ready? Ready? What's that?
Give it to Hightower on 1st and 15, and Hightower maybe gets a yard. Well, let's face it, so far the Jaguars are playing like a team that found out they were eliminated from the playoffs right around kickoff, but it's not really fair to use that as a crutch. We met with Gus Bradley, Paul Posluszny yesterday. Paul Posluszny had no idea the scenario as to how the Jaguars would get in the playoffs. He asked us, and that's because Gus Bradley did not talk about the playoffs all week long. He's never talked about the playoffs in his time with Jacksonville. It's always about getting better and staying internally motivated, as Posluszny is internally motivated right there. The sack of Drew Brees. Posluszny with his first sack of the season.
Yeah, it is interesting. You hang around Gus Bradley, you'll never meet a more positive guy. As you see this sack coming up from Posluszny, he wants players that are motivated within, and it's not about everything going on around the team. It's about your team being better. It's about a change in culture in Jacksonville, and this is the first season really where that's really taking grip, and you can tell the difference in the players' attitudes, their production, their wins and losses. It's continuing to grow.
Third down and 24 following the sack. Pass is deflected, still caught by Cooks, and Cooks is smacked down from behind. That was Ryan Davis making the tackle.
You know, we could talk a long time about Gus Bradley and his philosophy. As you see Drew Brees have to really take a seat for the first time today. This Gus Bradley philosophy is different. It's unique. I think it's built for the long term, and the question is, are they going to get good enough, fast enough for him to see it through?
Well, you made some great points there, Steve, but the most important is this team is now playing football. They're now respected around the league. They're in most every game. There haven't been many games like the one today.
Green muffs it, picks it back up out of bounds at the 32-yard line. We'll see if the Jaguars offense can get something going. They trail by 3 touchdowns.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's and by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Tuesday on CBS, it's a star-studded night celebrating legendary artists, including the man behind Star Wars, George Lucas. Stephen Colbert hosts the Kennedy Center Honors Tuesday at 9/8 Central. Only CBS. Home finale for the Saints. They've lost 9 of their last 12 home games, 5-9 on the season. Second straight year without the playoffs for New Orleans. First time since 2007-2008 they missed the playoffs in consecutive years. But they lead the Jaguars 21-0 with 7:02 to go in the first half. Bortles rolling right. And he is picked off. Delvin Breaux with the interception. What a story this young man has been for New Orleans this year, and he continues his incredible journey with his 3rd interception of the season.
Well, they've been picking on him a little bit today, but right here, watch as he's got his eyes right on Bortles. He knows he's got a deep cushion, and that's just a great break on the football.
He ran a better route than Allen Hurns did.
He kept his eyes on Bortles. He knew he had the cushion and was just waiting for that moment when he could put his foot in the ground and break to the football, and he comes up with the interception. And you're right, Andrew, what a story, Delvin Breaux.
If you're not familiar with it, suffered a serious neck injury in high school when he was playing just a couple miles from here at McDonough 35 High School. He broke the C4, C5, and C6 vertebrae. He was told that he could have died because he also broke a blood vessel in his neck. Long road back, did not play college football, was not medically cleared at LSU. Finally got clearance, played semi-pro football in the AFL, 2 years in the CFL. Had a tryout with the Saints in January. They signed him, and what a story it's been. And Steve Tasker, your son Luke played with Delvin Breaux with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Played in a Grey Cup final with Delvin Breaux, and what a story he was, and what a great guy. He's a strong, very quick. In fact, we talked to Sean Payton yesterday about him. He said when they worked Delvin Breaux out after never playing a snap of college football, he said it was the most impressive cornerback workout he has ever seen. And they would not let him out of the building without signing him to a contract.
He had 7 other workouts set up with other teams in the NFL. That's how impressed other teams were. Yeah. But Peyton did not want him to leave this facility. They signed him that day.
On 2nd and 5, Breeze incomplete, was looking for Cadet.
Well, Sean Payton told us that Travaris Cadet is a very dangerous receiver out of the backfield. You see him right there lined up next to Drew Brees. Number 38, one-on-one against the linebacker down the sideline. That's a mismatch. Dan Skuta can't run with Travaris Cadet. Drew Brees would like to have that one back. He knows that was an opportunity for another touchdown to add to his list.
Yeah, and that coverage, that's where Dan Skuta, that's where you missed Telvin Smith today. Telvin Smith can outrun most running backs.
He can run with them all, we know that.
Exactly, and that's when you get a matchup you like.
Breeze had completed 7 straight passes on 3rd down. They pitch it to Cooks, who stays in bounds for a first down. Right at the chains. That's the 3rd time today we've seen Cooks get the ball in the backfield.
Well, we've seen he's one of those guys that a creative offensive coordinator, his foot looked like it stepped out of bounds right there a couple yards back. They'll check the spot on that to confirm, but he's one of those guys that a creative offensive coordinator will definitely try and get unique ways to get him the football. We've seen a lot of different ways today. Expect to see more of that if you're Jacksonville.
Cooks with more yards than the Jaguars here already in the first half. He had 4 carries the entire season. That was his 3rd today in the first half.
I'm surprised Gus Bradley didn't challenge that.
Breeze calls a timeout with the play clock expiring. 5:35 to go, second quarter. Saints still up by 21. Over the years, 60 Minutes has reported on a lot of mob stories. Watch some of the most memorable on a special edition of 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Delvin Breaux back in his hometown of New Orleans now with 3 interceptions on the season. Sean Payton said he has exceptional hands, and he showed it on that pick of Blake Bortles.
Well, he's been picked on too now. He's given up 9 touchdowns on the year, but Sean Payton knows he's going to be a good one.
Hightower on the carry across the 30 and lunges ahead to the 25-yard line. That's going to be good for another New Orleans first down.
Yeah, and this is going to be 2 broken tackles right here. Cyprian runs past him there, can't pull him down, and then he runs out of the grip of Roy Miller to get the first down. And if your defense is struggling in run defense, sometimes it's missed tackles. In that case, 2 of them turned into a long gain.
Already 247 yards of offense for the Saints, just 43 for Jacksonville. It's Cadet on the carry. Cadet across the 20, and New Orleans back in the red zone where they've had a lot of success this year.
Well, they're just getting physical up front now, right, with Jacksonville. We've seen the ball up in the air. Drew Brees having success. This drive, Sean Payton and offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael just decided they want to run right at the Jaguars, and they're having pretty good success right now.
You know, the run plays you don't see very much in the NFL. They're just pitching the ball out, and a lot of teams don't do that because it takes away from their play action game. But the Saints are really getting to the edge quickly by using the pitch.
Second down and 4. Breeze has time, looking end zone again, incomplete. Was trying to squeeze it into his tight end Josh Hill, and Posluszny on the coverage for Jacksonville.
Well, that's another one of those mismatched kind of situations. Posluszny not known for his down the field coverage skills, and again Drew Brees, you'll see 51 in the middle. Drew Brees Posluszny turns his back. Drew Brees says, I'm going to put it high and behind Josh Hill because that is a play Posluszny cannot make the play on.
See, he's had that cast on his broken right hand. He has 3 plates in his right hand. 5 on the play clock for 3rd and 4. Breeze, end zone, and it's juggled and incomplete. He's trying to get it to Brandon Cooks. Devon House on the coverage.
Really good coverage by Devon House on this one. Watch him in the slot right here. Whoa, we're going to zoom in on him there on accident. Sorry about that. But right there, he looks back and finds that football and does not let Cooks come over the top.
That was Alu who rolled up into Breeze. Again, playing with a ruptured plantar fascia in his right foot. So here's Kai Forbath for a 37-yard field goal. He's 7 for 10 this season. Kick on the way, and Forbath is good. With 3:56 to go, the Saints increase their lead 24-0. So earlier today, when the newspaper here in New Orleans, the Times-Picayune, came out, there was a big headline, a front-page editorial written by Jeff Duncan, who was imploring Saints owner Tom Benson to sell both the Saints and the Pelicans. He owns the NBA New Orleans Pelicans, and a lot of turmoil in the Benson family trying to figure out who's going to be in charge in years to come, as Benson has kind of stepped out of that role in recent times. And he released a statement saying he's not thinking about selling either team, that he wants to remain the owner. And Certainly a lot of question marks going forward with the Saints, both the future of the team in terms of ownership, the future of head coach Sean Payton, who's been rumored to be potentially looking at other jobs and other teams interested in trading for him, as our Jason Lockenfora reported earlier today. He mentioned that the Colts and Dolphins have expressed interest in trading for Payton, who has 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah, this is not a story about Sean Payton looking for other work. It's about teams trying to find a way to lure him and pry him out of the Saints organization, either with a trade or just a cash offer, something of that nature. It's more about the interest in Payton than it is his desire to leave.
Hey, we asked Sean Payton yesterday, what's your comfort level with where you are in New Orleans? And he said he was very happy. It's the same thing he told the Jacksonville media on a conference call earlier this week, that he just finished building a house here in New Orleans. He has a son who goes to school in Dallas. It's a quick flight, so Sean can get over there and watch his son play sports after school, and he likes to have that aspect of being here in New Orleans. But as our Jason Lockenfora reported, there's a lot of interest in Sean Payton out there as Jonas Gray finds a hole and gets across the 40-yard line all the way up to the 43, a gain of 23.
Wow, this was the parting of the Red Sea. This New Orleans defense is the worst in the NFL, giving up over 137 yards a game. Watch the right side there. Just actually was a cutback. Jonas Gray saw it, got up to the poor run fits. Not every gap was controlled there by the Saints, and Jonas Gray and the Jaguars took advantage of that big time.
Longest run of Gray's career as they give it to Marquise Lee on first down, and Lee into New Orleans territory.
Yeah, Saints switched coordinators, defensive coordinators midway through this season. You look at where they've been since 2012. This is the last 3 years. This isn't just the last 3 games. This has been a long stretch of these numbers that the Saints have had to deal with, and it's not gotten any better this season.
Dennis Allen in his 5th game, taking over as defensive coordinator for the Saints after they fired Rob Ryan. Play action, Bortles, and that pass is broken up by Bro, intended for Allen Robinson. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, Allen Robinson and Blake Bortles not on the same page. That ball was on a Robinson before he was ready for it. You'll see the ball hits him right as he turns. He wasn't ready for that ball. This New Orleans Saints defense, though, with 1 touchdown pass given up today, will be tying the all-time record for most in a season.
Ball is loose. A botched handoff, just like last week, between Bortles and Robinson, but it looks like Jacksonville has recovered.
In fact, they did it for a first down. It looks like they advanced enough and bounced through the traffic and the feet to get past the first down marker.
The center, Stefan Wisniewski, falls on it, but these two had a problem last week against the Falcons. Problem with the exchange. It was a fumble that Jacksonville recovered like this one.
You know what it is? That was the read option. You can see Blake Bortles, he's riding, and the defensive end crashes down. Denard Robinson is a former quarterback. I think he expected Blake Bortles to pull that football out because it was a clear pull read. The defensive end crashing down tells Blake Bortles he should keep that ball. Denard Robinson, he can't make the decision. That's his problem. He made the decision. He wasn't getting that football.
And I'll tell you another thing. A guy like Robinson, who fumbles a lot, is the wrong guy to be having a ball handling issue in the back. You just don't call that play.
And they've had problems in the shotgun with those kind of handoffs the last couple weeks.
Well, Denard Robinson has had trouble holding on to the football. This was last week against Atlanta. 2 fumbles for Denard Robinson, and now 7 fumbles in his career on 211 carries, which is 1 every 30 carries. So that's been an issue for the former Michigan quarterback. But Wisniewski fell on it for a first down, so a fresh set of downs here for Bortles, firing sideline, caught by Hearns, who has a catch in 30 consecutive games.
We got our first real glimpse right there of Blake Bortles' arm strength. That ball, he identified an open receiver on the sideline all the way across from the right hash, about 15, 20 yards up the field on a line. Watch how quick this ball gets on the receiver on the outside. He makes his decision. That ball is zipped.
2-minute warning here in New Orleans. Jaguars driving. We're back in a moment. 3 first downs on this drive for Jacksonville. They have it 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 34-yard line. 2 timeouts left for Jacksonville. No coaches' challenges the rest of the half. It's all initiated by the replay booth. Bortles pump fakes, looks the other way, and completes it to Hearns. Alan Hearns down to the 10-yard line. Great job by Bortles to look off the defense and come back to Hearns.
Well, we spoke so much about how Drew Brees manipulates the defense. That's exactly what Bortles does on this. He looks completely the other direction, comes back and makes the throw. Look at his eyes, looks left, and comes back to the right after a little pump fake and puts it right on the money. That's a big-time quarterback play by a young player.
New Orleans has called a timeout. You see the graphic. The Jaguars have 31 points scored in the final 2 minutes of each half, which is tied for the 3rd most in the NFL this year. On the move again here with 1:37 to go. Coming up in the Verizon halftime report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower. They'll be back in our studio. They have all the latest scores, highlights, and also a comprehensive look at the playoff picture in both the AFC and NFC. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. 1:37 to go, 2 timeouts left for Jacksonville.
Well, prior to today, we see Blake Bortles has had 2 picks today, but he only had 1 in the last 3 games against 9 touchdowns. I would look in this situation, the slot up top, you see Julius Thomas, the former Broncos tight end. He and Blake Bortles have hooked up for 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games.
Bortles escapes the rush, dumps it down to Robinson. Denard Robinson inside the 5 and gets down to the 2-yard line.
That's what you do, and then the Saints take a timeout, and that's exactly right. Now they're going to try and conserve time. If you're Jacksonville right now, you got to think you're going to score a touchdown. But this is a great job by Denard Robinson. When you get this football, put your head down and pound it down to the end zone. He doesn't get in, but watch how he just buckles up and crashes in, tries to get in the end zone. But right here, the Saints are trying to conserve time to get the football back. Jacksonville wants to milk the clock so that they can score a touchdown with 0-0 on it.
Yeah, the Saints have used up all their timeouts, so Jacksonville now in complete control of the clock. The good thing for them is they've got 2 timeouts, which keeps the run option alive from the 2-yard line. They will not. New Orleans has got to play this honestly, which gives the Jaguars the advantage.
Bortles with 31 touchdown passes this year, but as a team, the Jaguars have just 5 rushing touchdowns. So we'll see what they decide to do on 2nd and goal with Denard Robinson next to Bortles in the shotgun. He's throwing, and it's caught by Marquise Lee for a touchdown. His 1st touchdown of the season and just the 2nd of his career.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion on the Saints defensive side, particularly in the secondary. And they have been susceptible to the pick play. And watch as the Jaguars run here, and that's, I don't know how you, that's illegal to me.
Well, it was definitely
Hearns ran right out, stood there next to the defender who was covering him, and they went right in.
Well, the good thing is that he at least stopped before the contact was made.
And now the Jags are going to go for 2. Interesting here.
3 scores
in the first half. Keep in mind their kicker has missed the most extra points in the NFL this year with 7. They've only gone for 2 twice this year. They're 0 for 2. Bortles, fade to the end zone, incomplete. Was trying to get it to Rashad Green.
Well, I'm surprised by that. They've got Julius Thomas and Allen Robinson, who are both great red zone options. But we saw the pick. We were just talking about the pick play that worked right there in Jacksonville's favor. There's a history here against the New Orleans Saints defense. A lot of touchdowns given up on the very same type of play you see here. Detroit rolling right. Golden Tate. That was Delvin Breaux getting kind of caught up in the pick. And right here again, same type of thing where you've got the outside receiver breaking in, the inside guy breaking out. Right here, you're going to see at the bottom. Marquise Lee's going to push up and come underneath Allen Hearns. Very nice catch by Marquise Lee. But, you know, when you get so much tape on an opponent showing them struggling with that type of a play, illegal or not, coaches are going to try and find a way to take advantage of it. Every team in the league runs a bunch of those pick plays, and they're hard to defend, bottom line.
And that's the 40th passing touchdown allowed by the Saints defense this year, which is tied for the most all-time with the 1963 Denver Broncos of the AFL. They only had 14 games that year when they did it.
Yeah, those pick plays are so hard to defend, they made them illegal.
Cadet is back deep. And he will take a knee with 1:23 to go. Coming up again, Verizon halftime report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. All the latest NFL scores and highlights, analysis of the first half as well. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Do you guys like that decision to go for 2? I mean, a minute to go in the first half?
Well,
I don't.
It's still a 4-score game right now. If they would have made that 2-point conversion, it becomes a 3-score game, because if you get the 2-point conversion,
2-score game.
It becomes a 24-8. It's a 3-score game total. 3 touchdowns get you to 24 is what I'm saying. So you're right, it would have become a 2-score game. Now it's a 3-score game.
Deflected at the line, and the catch is still made by Willie Snead. Breeze going no huddle with just 1 timeout remaining.
Easy. Hey, let's go. Option. Ready? What's that?
Breeze incomplete. Was trying to get it to Snead again. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 55 seconds remaining.
Yeah, there's no question that there's no reason for the Saints to take their foot off the gas. It's not like this is a division opponent where you're going to have to see this team twice next year. These teams rarely play each other. The Saints are coming off a short schedule, and Drew Brees is playing. They got all kinds of guys nicked up. You're not going to, if you're going to do it, you have to take guys out of the game to get them to stop playing hard. This is exactly why you prepare hard to play, so you can get up on a team and really go after them.
Screen pass to Cadet. He's got some blockers in front. Cadet dances his way across the 40 for a first down.
Well, when you got Drew Brees as your quarterback too, there's not any situation where Sean Payton is not going to feel like he can be very aggressive, because he knows Drew Brees is going to be very, very solid. You see the Saints, they have not had tremendous success in the 2-minute situation.
Brees loads up, completes another. It's Willie Snead again.
Might spike it right here if they can get to the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to get another 5 or 6 yards. They'll spike it here, and then they'll try and pick up maybe at least 5 more yards. They can take a shot if they want, but this is a great job of threading this through there by Brees. Snead in between 4 defenders.
That was a throw that Sean Payton, I'm sure, would say, well, in general, we would probably say this is not where we want to go with the football right here.
That's like taking the long 3.
The thing,
don't. Oh, that's a good shot. Yeah.
The thing the Saints can do right now, there are 15 seconds. They do have time to use the middle of the field and still get their kicking team out there to kick a field goal. They've got to be ready for it, though, right now.
They can even throw a short pass and spike it even.
Breeze with pressure coming, taking a deep shot for Cooks. Incomplete. Devon House on the coverage. And a flag comes in back at the line of scrimmage. And the Saints are indicating it's against Jacksonville.
Andre Branch had his arms out.
59 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
9 seconds left. This is kind of no man's land. I mean, you can't throw the ball and spike it. You got to go for the field goal here. Yeah, and I agree with this. He's going to send out Forbath for the field goal. 9 seconds is just not enough time to run a play and be confident you can try the field goal.
Well, I think with 9 seconds, I do believe you can try and take a shot at the end zone or try and make it. This is a 52-yard field goal. You can take a shot to try and pick up 5 to 10 more yards on the sideline. If it's not there, Breeze is going to throw it away.
Forbath made a 57-yarder, a career-long Week 12 against Houston, and this one is no good. Wide left with 4 seconds remaining.
I'm kind of surprised. I really believe that Sean Payton with 9 seconds, if you're talking 6 seconds like last night, there might have been an issue with the Redskins and the Eagles. Question about whether to try and go one more play before the half or not. That's a little bit more dicey, but here with 9 seconds, I think you can do it.
Gus Bradley was going to try and freeze Kai Forbath. And he said, you can see the officials say too late. and Gus Bradley's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. I didn't want it anyway.
Rare when you don't see a smile on Gus Bradley's face. And now if you're the Jaguars, why not take a chance and throw up a Hail Mary? That's exactly what New Orleans is expecting. They have a big prevent defense on for this potentially final play of the first half.
Well, the culture of the NFL now, you throw it up, it's hard not to get pass interference on these plays, and it could really help you. I mean, you can get a chance at 3 points.
Pressure coming from Vaccaro. Bortles nowhere to go, and he's sacked. And that is how the first half will end. That's the second sack of the half for Kenny Vaccaro. And the Jaguars, down 24-6, will get the ball to start the second half. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Start of the third quarter at the Superdome, and the Saints lead the Jaguars 24-6. Happy holidays, everyone. Back in the booth with Steve Berline and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalan. A lot of questions this week about Drew Brees. Would he play with the ruptured plantar fascia in his right foot? Well, not only is he playing, but he has 251 yards passing and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Drew Brees is doing what Drew Brees does. His team is going to come out and play hard no matter what the situation is. You know, they've got that leadership, they've got that expectation, that standard that they expect out of themselves. They know they're out of the playoffs, but they want to win every time they set foot in the field, and they know how to do it.
Steve Tasker, how does Jacksonville get it going offensively in the second half?
Well, they got to stay on the field. First of all, they're playing against one of the worst defenses in the National Football League, and they're a team that wants to take another step forward. This is the kind of game they need to win, and it's up to that guy, Blake Bortles, to keep his football team on the field offensively. The defense has got to get some stops against Drew Brees. And this is a game where they have every reason to lay down. They're finally out of the playoffs. They have had a pretty good season up to this point. They've made some improvements, but they can't decide that they're done now. They have to continue to get better. And Gus Bradley is the first guy that will tell them that.
Follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. And if you're just joining us, Jacksonville was still alive to begin the day to win the AFC South, but because of Houston's win over Tennessee earlier, the Jaguars have been eliminated. Jacksonville has not made the playoffs since 2007, 8th straight year without a winning record for the Jaguars. Forbath kicks it away to Nick Marshall. Jacksonville will start with the football here in the second half, and Marshall takes a knee, so Bortles will come out and start this drive at the 20 as we look at the first half numbers, and it was all New Orleans.
Yeah, and you look here, the turnovers are really what gave New Orleans a chance to really kind of jump up on the Jaguars. I mean, no question, Drew Brees is playing lights out, but the extra possessions on offense that can play well is going to leave you with a really bad taste in your mouth if you're Jacksonville.
Bortles 9 of 14 for 80 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions in the first half as they start this half on the ground with Denard Robinson. Jacksonville notorious for slow starts this year, and a look at their first half possessions against the Saints. That trend has continued, getting that touchdown late in the first half.
Yeah, you see the 2 interceptions right there, and that has been an improvement so far this year for Blake Bortles. He really has minimized the turnovers recently. Today, again, being bitten by what kind of became the norm early in his career.
Robinson again with a flag down. Bortles came in his last 3 games, only had 1 interception, but 2 in the first half today.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
You know, we talk about Gus Bradley and his message to this team, and it's always been about just get better, just get better. In a game like this, he's always said this team is in a race to maturity, and this is the kind of game where your team kind of comes out a little flat and they get down big, you really find out what your team, and you find out about some of the players on your rosters. Are they the kind of guys you want?
Getting a holding penalty to come out and start the second half is not what they had in mind either.
That one goes against Zane Beadles, the 6th-year man out of Utah. Makes it 2nd down and 18. Bortles to a wide-open Robinson who makes the catch. Robinson still on his feet. Robinson is still going. And finally brought down close to midfield. Allen Robinson picks up 38.
Well, I'll tell you, Allen Robinson is a guy you want on your team. He just does a great job. And I can't figure out what Brandon Browner was looking at. He kind of thought he was going to come up, maybe slough off and get a pick off on a flat route, and it cost him.
You know what it was? It was too deep coverage, and Blake Bortles made up his mind he was going to throw it in the hole. That is not a throw that many quarterbacks make. Blake Bortles just did it, and Allen Robinson having a Pro Bowl year, alternate to the Pro Bowl.
Bortles looking for more. Play action to Robinson's complete at the 45. Denard Robinson picks up a Jacksonville 1st down.
Well, I don't know what Gus Bradley said at halftime, but obviously the skill guys, I mean, after getting a holding call early on with a couple of run plays, now they're putting the ball in Bortles' hands saying, listen, let's spin it and see what we can do. And now they've got their skill guys, the guys who have really emerged this year, taking over this game.
So Jacksonville with 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 38-yard line. Pressure coming. Bortles gets rid of it, and that one is dropped by Allen Hurns. 2nd drop this season by Hurns. Well, the Saints have allowed a touchdown in the opening drive of the second half in 3 of their last 4 games. Alfred Blue for the Texans, week 12. Cam Newton to Ted Ginn, week 13 for Carolina. And then on Monday night, Amir Abdullah ran one in from 15 yards out. That drive was 6 plays for 78 yards. And we spoke with Sean Payton yesterday about his defensive struggles, and he said that we just had a tough time getting to the quarterback this year. We need to address that in free agency in the offseason. That'll be one of their big targets. As Bortles slings it to Lee, he has the Jacksonville touchdown, and Marquise Lee to the 32-yard line. Kyle Wilson on the tackle.
This Jacksonville team is going to be set at the wide receiver position for a lot of years. You talk about Marquise Lee, who we see on this one. He's been kind of the forgotten man, and he's the one that really the high hopes were for, the most well-known of all these receivers. But Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson have really established themselves as top-notch receivers, all of them in their 2nd year.
3rd down and 4. Bortles completes to Julius Thomas for another Jacksonville 1st down. Thomas to the 24-yard line, a gain of 8.
Great protection as Bortles had a chance to go from both sides of the field. Watch his eyes, his helmet's off to the left. He'll go down in the center, and then stays with it, actually, just goes right out and hits Thomas right on the numbers. You said it, Steve Berline, the skill position spots for Jacksonville seem to be set. They're all young, they're all up and coming, and it's going to be exciting to see this team transition into a team that, you know, is a real handful every week.
Thomas, the motion man with 2 on the play clock. Bortles out of the shotgun. Bortles over the middle, another completion for Blake Bortles. That's Allen Robinson, who, as Steve Berline mentioned, named a Pro Bowl alternate this week. 8 wide receivers make the Pro Bowl, and there's a good chance that Robinson will still end up there. Last year, 5 of the 8 receivers backed out. So Robinson named a first alternate, and he hopes to get there. He would be the first Jaguars Pro Bowl wide receiver since Jimmy Smith in 2002.
Well, he leads the NFL in touchdown receptions, as well as being well over 1,000 yards coming into this game. So he's got the resume for the season.
2nd and 3. Denard Robinson left side. Robinson with a 1st down. Robinson down at the 10. So a great start to this half for the Jacksonville offense. And offensive coordinator Greg Olson.
Whatever Greg Olson and Gus Bradley said or did at halftime in that locker room, it's a different team that's come out to play the second half.
And Greg Olson was Drew Brees' quarterback coach at Purdue. In fact, Olson was instrumental in recruiting Drew Brees to Purdue. They have a great relationship, and they embraced pregame and had a nice chat on the field here at the Superdome. First and goal for Jacksonville. Bortles in trouble, spins away from Jordan. Bortles dumps it to Robinson, who dropped it. Second drop today for Denard Robinson.
Yeah.
It's second and goal.
Second drop today, and with a fumble as well. I mean, this is one of the things that's plagued him, and this is, great job by Bortles. First of all, senses the protection and keeps the play alive, and this is why I think he's got a bright future. He extends plays and he puts this ball right on the money, and there's no excuse for not catching that if you're Denard Robinson. Those are the kind of plays you got to make.
Sean Payton had a great line about Bortles this week. He scrambles to throw. He doesn't scramble to run. Reminds him a lot of Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Second and goal. Robinson on the carry. And he is stuffed at the 6-yard line. Stephon Anthony, one of the first to get there for the Saints.
On that note, Andrew, the Blake Bortles, Ben Roethlisberger comparison, I've said from day one that the resemblance in size, Bortles is 6'5", 245 pounds, very similar in size to Ben Roethlisberger. Both of them very mobile for big men, strong arms. They like to extend plays. A lot of similarities.
Keep an eye here on Allen Robinson. He leads the NFL in red zone touchdown receptions with 12.
Julius Thomas is another guy to watch in this situation.
And we're going to have to wait to watch as Jacksonville calls timeout with 8:54 and just 4 seconds on the play clock. The 11th play of the drive when we come back to New Orleans. Blake Bortles had 80 yards passing in the first half, 71 on this drive, but Jacksonville staring at third and goal. Low snap, Bortles fields it, fires, caught, touchdown, Allen Hurns. His 9th touchdown of the season. And Jacksonville makes it a 24-12 game.
Very impressive drive. Started off with 2 runs, then got a holding penalty, came back and drove all the way down the field on the arm of Bortles. This is a great dart. He throws right between the 2 linebackers. Small window, great throw, great catch.
There was a little shoulder manipulation from Blake Bortles there on that pass. Really moved and held the safety and the linebacker underneath. Super job by the young quarterback, showing signs of growth right there.
11-play drive. Here's Myers for the extra point. He's missed the most extra points in the NFL this year, but this one is good to make it a 24-13 game with 8:51 to go in the third quarter. The Jaguars with a good start to the second half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Back in New Orleans, Allen Hurns, a 6-yard touchdown to cap an 11-play, 80-yard drive. And Jacksonville's now scored a touchdown on 15 of their last 16 red zone drives. The only time they did not score was last week against Atlanta when Bortles threw an interception on the 1-yard line. So Myers will kick it away, and Cadet is back deep for the Saints. Myers 5th in the NFL in touchbacks, and he adds to his total. It'll be New Orleans football at the 20 when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Allen Hurns now tied for the most career receiving touchdowns in the first 2 seasons of a career by an undrafted player. He's tied with Antonio Gates and former New York Giant Bobby Johnson. With 3 more receiving yards, Hurns would pass Wayne Corbett, the former Jet, for the most receiving yards by an undrafted player in his first 2 seasons. The touchdown makes it 24-13. Drew Brees with his first drive of the second half, and his pass is deflected and nearly intercepted. The night before Super Bowl 50, the NFL salutes the best players and plays of the season in a primetime star-studded football and entertainment special, NFL Honors. It's Saturday, February 6th, only on CBS. Breeze is 14 of 23 for 251 yards and 2 touchdowns. He started 11 for 14. He's 3 of his last 9, but completes this one to Hill, who's stuffed by Posluszny. As we take a look at the Saints' first half possessions, and got off to a hot start with 3 touchdowns on their first 3 drives.
Pretty much a perfect start for the Saints. You can see
a 98-yard drive is impressive.
Yeah, only 1 punt in the first half.
So Paul Posluszny making that last tackle. We met with him week 2. He said, yeah, I'm getting a little older. My body's starting to hurt a little bit. And we asked him yesterday, how you feeling? He goes, other than a broken right hand, I feel great. On 3rd down, Breeze completes that one. And it's a first down for Brandon Coleman. Nick Marshall on the tackle. And it appeared that Posluszny was trying to get a timeout called. Right before that snap, it wasn't granted to him.
Well, I don't know that Posluszny's been using his hands to make defensive signals, and one of the signals he's been making and yelling smash with looks like a timeout, but because he's got a club on his hand, he can't tell if it's the yeah. That's the same thing he's been doing to make a defensive call, and it looks like a timeout with that club on his hand.
That's a great point. He's wearing that cast and had trouble getting the timeout in. Saints go back to the ground with Tim Hightower.
We talked to Posluszny about the problems that club makes for him. He said really the biggest problem is getting off blocks. He can't grab anything to help him get leverage on a blocker. He didn't really think about having a hard time calling a timeout.
Yeah, so much of playing linebackers, getting into an offensive lineman or a running back and shaking and throwing them off you so you can get to the ball.
Saints with another run here. It's Hightower out to midfield. A first down for New Orleans. 14th carry today for Tim Hightower. He set a career high a couple of weeks ago in Tampa Bay with 28 carries.
And the most carries anybody for the Saints has had over the last 10 years has been Mark Ingram with 30. Tim Hightower hit 28 a few weeks back.
Twelve plays today for New Orleans that have gone for longer than 10 yards.
Hey, kill. Hey, I want 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 52. Yep. Ready. Lady, what's that?
Breeze to Coleman again. And he's got it inside the 45-yard line. Nick Marshall, the tackle. We chatted with Sean Payton about Brandon Coleman yesterday. He was undrafted out of Rutgers, and he was really medically red flagged at the time of the draft. He tore his meniscus in college, and Sean Payton said, everyone passed on him because of the knee. We brought him in, and basically with putting him on the practice squad last year, he got a chance to redshirt, if you will. And just that 1 year to get his knee fully healthy has made a big impact for Brandon Coleman this year, and they're counting on him to be a big part of this offense in years to come. Breeze to a wide-open Cadet at the 20, puts the moves on. Touchdown, Saints, 44 yards.
Well, Posluszny and Pollard ran into each other, which is what allowed Cadet to go untouched down the sideline. You're going to see Pollard and Paul Posluszny. You see Posluszny right there in the middle. They start chasing Cadet. Actually, I saw Pollard fall down. No, Pollard slipped on the outside. That allowed Cadet to get down the sideline. I saw Posluszny and Cadet. There it is right there. You see Pollard going down.
Well, Pollard in for Telvin Smith, and we said at the top he's not as fast or as athletic as Telvin Smith, and right there the Saints took advantage of that matchup.
Yeah, that's smart offensive play calling as we see the extra point knocked up and good.
Travaris Cadet was cut by the 49ers this week. The Saints pick him up, and he's got his 4th career touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cialis and by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Saints lead 31-13. Drew Brees now over 300 yards passing for the 95th time in his career, which is the most all-time. 2 more than Peyton Manning, and the 9th time this season that Brees has gone over 300 yards. How's that plantar fascia going? Well, I think it's going quite well, with 3 touchdowns as well for Drew Brees. Week 16 continues with Sunday Night Football tonight at 8:30 Eastern on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Drew Brees said he woke up Tuesday morning and was in a ton of pain, and basically just said he had to convince himself he was going to play. He knew that if he let the pain take over, he wouldn't be out there, and that was certainly much of the talk this week. Would Brees play? Who would be the quarterback, Matt Flynn or Garrett Grayson? Brees decided it was going to be him. He wanted to be out there for his teammates, and Jonas Gray with another big run. Already had a run of 23 in the first half. This one goes for 25.
This one's going to come back as a flag.
Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Second penalty on Zane Beadles today.
Well, the last scoring drive started out with a penalty on Zane Beadles. Right here it is. Got his hand on the outside of the shoulder, and
wow. I have a hard time.
I have a hard time with that one too.
Agreeing with that. I mean, he was.
It's all about. You're right. He didn't gain an advantage with that hand placement. The fact was his hand was on his outside shoulder. That's what they threw the flag on. It wasn't because he inhibited the defender.
But he did what every offensive lineman is coached to do on that particular type of play. The defensive lineman fell down in front of him.
So you take the 25-yard run off the board. It's 1st and 20. Bortles to the air this time. Down the sideline for Robinson. He's got it. It's a foot race. Robinson and Browner. And it's Robinson who wins it. Touchdown, Jacksonville. His 14th touchdown of the season.
They were hand fighting all the way down. And
I think Robinson got away with a little bit of a push off, but that's an art in and of itself. I mean, we both know receivers very good at that. You're going to watch a great release by Robinson.
There's Browner, got a handful.
They're hand
that could have
fighting,
been called, and then I don't know. I think that's a good no call. Browner could have been called for a jersey grab and wasn't. I think Robinson's fine on that.
I agree with you. I think it could have been called, and I wouldn't have been surprised to see it called either way. But to me, it's just good football. A heck of a play by a spectacular young wide receiver.
It took the replay for me to think there was not contact, but you're right. I mean, Robinson did a great job on that. Browner could have been called early, but that's one of those ticky-tack calls.
Right.
That's a good no call by the officials.
That's playing football. That's playing football.
And what a play.
So now Jacksonville will go for 2 again. They failed in the first half. They are 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions this season. Bortles again, and that one is intercepted by Vaccaro. He's got some room to run. This would go for 2 points. Vaccaro still going, and Denard Robinson makes the tackle. Remember, the Saints a few weeks ago returned a blocked extra point for 2 points. They nearly took this one back for 2. Another failed conversion by the Jaguars. It remains 31-19.
Well, this is a time that at least they try and get it to a guy that's over 6 foot. Julius Thomas, the tight end, but I still don't like either one of those calls. The fade is a hard route to hit. He just couldn't get it done.
"90 yards is the longest play from scrimmage in Jaguars history. Bortles to Robinson. The previous long was 84 yards. Byron Leftwich to Troy Edwards. And Allen Robinson has now taken the receiving touchdown lead in the NFL. He came in tied with Odell Beckham Jr. and Doug Baldwin. Odell Beckham Jr. plays later tonight for the Giants against Minnesota. Doug Baldwin in Seattle, only with a field goal so far in their game against St. Louis. Beckham is obviously suspended, so he won't be catching any touchdowns tonight against the Vikings. Cadet is stuffed at the 11-yard line. Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play and score, every game, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile.
Well, we need to give a little credit to Jerry Sullivan, too, the wide receivers coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a marvelous job he's done with these young wide receivers that just keep making plays for this team. That last touchdown pass against New Orleans broke the record. 41 touchdown passes now against the New Orleans Saints, a record that had been standing since 1963.
So let's see if Breeze and the Saints can respond. Josh Hill on first down runs right into Paul Posluszny.
That's another one of those pick plays, and that's a hurt. That hurt. They're going to let him stay on the ground there. He was not ready to get up.
Hill is still down, third-year tight end out of Idaho State.
The referees have the right to stop play if they're worried about head-to-head, and right there you could see very clearly Posluszny coming over to make the tackle. Very intuitive decision by the referee to be extra safe and make sure that Josh Hill didn't overstrain himself trying to get back up and off the field.
Josh Hill comes in on 2 and 3 tight ends formations, plays a lot of special teams. On here they used him in the regular offense, and you see both players, you know, brace themselves for the impact. It's not a penalty, but Josh Hill a little bit worse for wear.
Now he's now in the concussion protocol.
So Hill being examined on the Saints sideline. He did get 6 yards on first down. It's 2nd and 4.
Ready? You ready? What's up?
They fake the pitch. Breeze looking to throw. Lines up. Deep shot into double coverage. It's incomplete. Brandon Cooks the intended target, but McCray and Brown were on the coverage.
That's one Drew Brees. He kind of predetermined what he wanted to do, because there is no doubt that the Jaguars were on top of this play. You see this time both safety and corner in position. No way Cooks was going to get behind him that time.
Brings up third down for the Saints, and they've done a good job on third downs this year. 2nd in the NFL at 46%. Today they're 4 out of 7. Ben Watson in motion. He's still without a catch today for New Orleans. Breeze over the middle, and it's caught for a first down by Austin Johnson, the fullback.
Yeah, this New Orleans offense, where the guy is accurate and is quick with a quick release like Breeze. I mean, you send guys out, you hook up about 3 or 4 guys just past the sticks, and he pump fakes. I mean, I don't know how you defend that. I mean, all the defenders are looking at his eyes. They jump the receivers that he pump fakes to, and then he just comes back and with a simple flick and catch, it's a first down. It's just impossible to defend.
It's exactly what Paul Posluszny told us yesterday. He knows how to move defenders by looking one way and coming back the other way. Hightower on first down, and Hayes, check it, Dan Skuta makes the tackle.
It's also one of the reasons why this Saints team is so hard to pressure. They've got such a good quick passing game. You know, teams are really, they don't even send pressure on first and second down, because they know that with the quick passing game, the ball will be out, so it's better to drop into coverage and let them throw that quick pass and make the tackle. And then if you can get them in the third long, then maybe you can send some pressure once in a while on Drew Brees. But other than that, stay away from him, because he's really good under pressure.
Ready? Hey, let's go. Shot. Ready? You ready? We're set.
Breeze quick pass, caught for a first down. Willie Snead out to the 38-yard line before Posluszny makes another tackle, but it's another first down after a gain of 11.
Well, this Willie Snead is a guy that is not surprising anybody in the NFL now. Everybody knows who this guy is. Last 2 weeks, he's only had 17 catches for 198 yards coming into today. For those 17 catches, he was targeted 20 times. So 17 out of 20, pretty good percentage.
Drew Brees says that Snead reminds him a lot of Lance Moore, who had several successful seasons here, as Hightower breaks a tackle. Hightower into Jacksonville territory. Jonathan Cyprien finally catches up to him, but not before Hightower goes for 26.
Yeah, this is a front 7 run defense. This ball is going to come right through here. They're going to block this down, and the ball carrier is going to come right in here behind. And he just cuts right in behind that cave in. of the right side of the offensive line, and it's just, you know, it's just pick your spot and run to daylight.
Mike 5-2, Mike 5-2. Ready, ready for set.
Right back to Hightower. Met at the line of scrimmage and push back. With 70 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
Well, this is a Jaguars team that coming into this game defensively ranked third as far as yards per carry, giving up only 3.55 yards a carry. But we've seen a lot of gapers against this defense so far, where the Saints have just been able to create seams and big play opportunities for Hightower.
Gapers? I like
Gapers.
that. I knew exactly what you meant. I was with you.
Ready for set.
Quick pass to Cooks. And we're going to go quickly back to New York. An NFL Today update with JB and Bart Scott.
Arizona playing like it wants a first-round bye.
Oh, Kareem Martin's going to beat Josh Walker, get the sack going. And Corey Reddy picks it up and takes it in 36 yards. A stiff arm on Eddie Lacy takes it in. And the best thing about a big man score is a big man celebration. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! Arizona up 31-0.
Steve Tasker would have caught him. Back to Andrew Catalon, Steve Tasker, and Steve Berline.
But I wouldn't have been able to tackle him.
Arizona with a win clinches a first-round bye. That's the end of the third quarter. Saints lead 31-19. We'll return to New Orleans after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the fourth quarter at the Superdome, and the Saints, who have lost 9 of their last 12 home games, holding on to a 31-19 lead over the Jaguars. With Steve Tasker and Steve Berline, I'm Andrew Catalon, our entire NFL on CBS crew. And to start this quarter, Drew Brees and the Saints offense looking at 3rd down and 9.
Well, you're right, Andrew. Sean Payton, 3-4 this year. They need to get the win to prevent the 3rd losing season under his tenure here at home.
From here, it would be a 53-yard field goal. Certainly not what Brees is thinking in the shotgun on 3rd and 9. Pressure coming from Colvin. Brees gets rid of it and completes it to Brandon Coleman. Colvin on the blitz. Coleman with the catch. First down, Saints.
Well, we've talked about Coleman. But you see Brees, and we said it. I mean, the guy is just really good under pressure. He gets rid of the football, avoids the hit, and this catch by Coleman. I mean, you have no idea. That guy is 6'6". I mean, he is tall. He's a big, big receiver, and Saints fans are going to love him for a long time. And he has got a bright future. I was really impressed watching him practice, and I've really been impressed watching him play here live.
Ready.
Ball spotted at the 25-yard line. Hightower having a nice afternoon. That brings him to 86 yards rushing on the day.
Yeah, he's been a nice addition to this offense. The disappointment with C.J. Spiller and his lack of ability to really stay on the field and be a part of this offense. The injury to Mark Ingram, finding a guy like Hightower to step up and really solidify that bell cow kind of tailback mentality that every coach would like to have. Very nice luxury to add to this offense.
If you're just joining us, C.J. Spiller, a healthy scratch today by Sean Payton and the Saints. Brees comes back the other way, and somehow it's caught. Unbelievable catch by Cooks on a pass that was nearly intercepted.
Aaron Colvin thinks he's got this. Puslesny goes out underneath it. Cyprian comes over and lays a hit, and none of it matters.
Every once in a while, something happens that you can't explain. I don't know how that ball got in there. That ball is one that even Drew Brees would admit when he looks at film tomorrow. He's going to say, I probably shouldn't have thrown that one.
Oh, Puslesny's all over it. He's in the throwing lane, and Brees fits it in.
And Colvin was right there. I mean, it was excellent cover. Just a perfect ball and catch.
1st and goal for New Orleans with Hightower as the running back. Play action. Breeze, and he just threw this one away. Alu came with the pressure and took Breeze to the ground.
Yeah, that was the key, the pressure from Alu. This is a pass that Drew Brees is going to hit most of the time, even though it would have had to have been a nice touch pass. You're going to see Alu coming off the left side. He just, actually, right up the middle. He did a good job just coming right up the middle, and I think Drew Brees felt the pressure, didn't have time to get his feet set.
Yeah, that almost looked like a throwaway. He knew he was going to have a hard time getting it in there. He wanted to take no chances. He wanted to bring up second down. He didn't want first down to turn into an interception.
This time they hand it to Hightower up the middle. Hightower still going, and he's in. His second touchdown of the day.
You're going to see Hightower get a little extra help at the end. It was a great run. He got to the 1-yard line, and then Tim Lelito, the left guard, I believe number 68, is the one that gave him the final push into the end zone. Right there you go. Get in there.
Almost spiked the back in the end zone instead of the football. This just opens wide open on coming down the middle, and you know we spoke about this team coming out after halftime being up by so much. It was going to be important if Jacksonville wanted to get back into it. They had to get a stop. They have not been able to stop this offense.
Forbath with the extra point, and Tim Hightower's incredible story continues. He was out of football for 3 years because of a knee injury. He's back, and he's made a big impact for the Saints. New Orleans has 4 scoring drives today of 80 yards or more. That one went for 88, and it gives the Saints a 38-19 lead. Jacksonville's the only team in the NFL this year to score 50 points in a game and also give up 50 points in a game, and New Orleans is on their way with 38 as Marshall takes a knee. We want to send out our heartfelt condolences to the family of Jerry Romig. He died Wednesday at the age of 86. He was the PA voice of the Saints for 44 years. He's a member of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He retired 2 years ago, and his son Mark has taken over that role as the PA voice here at the Superdome. Had a chance to talk with Mark before the game and told me they had a wonderful, touching funeral for his father yesterday, and his mom was home watching the game. We certainly want to send our condolences to her as well. First down for Jacksonville, and they'll begin this drive on the ground with Jonas Gray.
One of the things we were talking about in the break, Steve Berline, is, you know, as good as Jacksonville's offense has played in the second half, it's going to be irrelevant if their defense can't start to stop New Orleans Saints. I mean, and they have not.
It's hard to make up ground if you're not stopping the other team. So the math just doesn't work. Jacksonville really playing well offensively.
Now, since that second interception, Bortles 11 of 14, 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they need more here. They get it to Mercedes Lewis, which is his first catch today. And it moves the chains for Jacksonville. David Hawthorne and Stephon Anthony make the tackle.
We talked about Bortles and the things that he's done better. I mean, this year, we talked about it. 64 pass plays coming into the day of 20-plus yards. That's #1 in the league. He's a big play quarterback. He loves throwing the football down. He doesn't get scared off by it. And, of course, with these young receivers, hey, why not?
Jonas Gray. And Bobby Richardson, one of the first there for the Saints. So let's take a look. Bortles through his first 2 years and Drew Brees through his first 2 years. Break it down to 27 career starts, and the numbers are pretty similar.
Yeah, not a whole lot of difference there. And if Bortles can keep it together the way Drew Brees has over the years, I think Jacksonville would be pretty happy with that development. Now, this guy has thrown a touchdown in 14 consecutive games. 8 of the last 10 he's had at least 2 touchdowns, so he's starting to figure it out.
It's 15 consecutive games now with today, and that's a new franchise record. He came into the day tied with Mark Brunell.
And one of the things about him, he seems tough. I mean, this is one of the guys, he's been sacked in every single game he's ever started in the NFL except week 2 this year versus Miami. He's He runs the football well. He picks his spots. He seems physical and durable enough to be available. And you ask a guy like Drew Brees how important that has been over his career.
Jacksonville much improved on third downs today. They're 5 of 7 after that was a big focal point in practice. Bortles wasn't ready for the snap. Jaguars able to recover, but Bortles was not ready for that one.
Yeah, Wisniewski jumped the gun. I don't know whether he felt the clock running down or he heard something. He snapped it. Bortles, you could see him calling something out to the side. Terrible time for a miscommunication right there. That's a third down conversion Jacksonville had to make to stay in this ball game.
Oh, it's a third down conversion in the fourth quarter of a game you're trailing
That's what I'm saying.
19 points. There's no worse time at all that could possibly happen. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that's a crusher.
So Brian Anger will punt it. High spiraling kick. Fair catch called for by Charis Bird at the 15-yard line. So after showing some improvement on third downs, there's this for Jacksonville. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by TD Ameritrade.
Getting hungry here in New Orleans. Happy holidays from all of us here at CBS. Saints lead 38-19 with 9:48 to go in the fourth quarter, and they give it to Hightower again, who's had a massive day. That's his first 100-yard game of the season. Coming up after the game, time permitting, the Subway post-game show. Join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway post-game show. Not only the first 100-yard game this season for Hightower, his first since December of 2010.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Nice drink of water after a long dry spell.
Why not give it right back to him? And this time he just gets a yard on the play. Well, both these teams have had special visitors at practice over the last 2 weeks. Last Friday, Charles Barkley went to Jacksonville's practice. Gus Bradley said he thought he would talk for 10 minutes, ended up taking questions from the team for 45 minutes. And then we were at Saints practice yesterday when Sean Payton broke down the guys, and Sugar Ray Leonard, legendary boxer, addressed the Saints. And of course, Sugar Ray has fond memories here in New Orleans because Leonard Roberto Duran II, the No Mas fight, was here at the Superdome in 1980. Hightower on the carry. Hightower running across the 40-yard line. He's got this Jaguars defense saying no mas.
Yeah, that was. It's funny you talk about that, and coaches use a lot of things to motivate teams. As you see Hightower off the left side of the offense, Sean Payton had to explain to the players, a lot of the players, of who Sugar Ray Leonard was, because they had never, most of these guys are born in the 90s anyway, and they didn't know who Sugar Ray was. And to have him come up and say a few words to the team when he read down the list of his accomplishments, you could see the level of respect and attention rise every moment as he spoke to the team.
Flags come in, and play clock's at 0.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Tim Hightower, 22 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Saints.
He's running like a guy that has an awful lot to run for him, and his team 5-9 coming to this game. Don't tell him that. This is an opportunity that he's been probably dreaming about for a very long time. You got to be happy for that young man. The hard work is paying off.
Gets another carry here and maybe a yard on the play. We were talking about how some of the Saints didn't know who Sugar Ray Leonard is. We do want to mention, speaking of getting old, that our Steve Tasker became a grandpa this week. Congratulations, wow, yeah. Steve.
One of the highlights for me, I'm telling you. It was a nice Christmas present. Rose Ray Tasker. Yeah, very excited about her.
What a deal.
And I can't wait to get home and see her again.
Of course, Steve Berline is just always old, doesn't need to become a grandpa to acknowledge that on air. So.
Yeah, all right, great. Thanks. Merry Christmas to you.
The first quarterback in Jaguars history, Steve Berline. Hightower gets to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, this is the spot in the game. It's so satisfying for a Saints team who has done just about everything correct. Their offense is clicking, and all you need to do is hand it to your bell cow now back in Tim Hightower and just run some time off the clock. And now the Saints on a 3rd and 9 will bring in the speed guys, 3rd and 11, I'm sorry, and bring in the speed guys and see if they can convert this 3rd down. Right where they want to be, though.
Ready? Set.
Breeze taking a deep shot down the field, and it's caught by Snead. Willie Snead with the big grab on 3rd down. Breeze and Snead connect for 36 yards.
It's just one of those days for the Saints and for the Jaguars. McCray's in great position right here to go up for the football. How that ball got in there, I have no idea as well. There's been about 3 or 4 today that have gotten in when you really didn't think they would. Drew Brees standing there taking another shot.
Yeah. Whipping his head around so he can watch that ball be caught. This is a great job by Snead, just using his body to go up, catch it in his chest. He knows the defender's right there. Just make sure the catch. Don't think about running after or anything like that. Just grab it and come down with it.
Drew Brees calls timeout, but he now has the 13th 400-yard game in his career. Brees has thrown for 401 today with 5:25 to go. Tonight on a new Undercover Boss, a company known for sweet treats, as a boss who can make things sour. New Undercover Boss, tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. 500 yards in the last 3 games for the Saints against the Jaguars. Longest streak in the NFL against one team. Unbelievable since 1956. As Breeze play action completes it to guess who? Tim Hightower. Out of bounds at the 12-yard line, forced out by Cyprien.
Well, we're watching Tim Hightower and Drew Brees and company take over offensively, which is what this organization is known for. But you got to give a little credit to their defense today as well, holding the Jaguars to only 304 yards total offense today. This is a team that had been giving up 415 yards again, 413 yards a game, ranked 31st in the NFL. Against the Jaguars team that has been playing pretty well offensively lately, as you look at Dennis Allen right there, the defensive coordinator.
Hightower to the 10, smacked down at the 9-yard line. Hayes Pollard makes the stop. Don't forget, coming up after the game, time permitting, the Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. They'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. 4.5 to go in the 4th in what could be, although it's not likely, but could be the final home game of Drew Brees' Saints career. There is some talk about next year and what will happen with Brees. It's the final year of his contract, and he's due $20 million. It would be a $30 million cap hit, which would be the largest in NFL history, and many people expect they'll restructure that cap and give him an extension, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities that this could be his final home game.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't expect that to happen. Good owners, good coaches don't let good quarterbacks go, and they'll find a way to keep Drew Brees here. That's my take. Although there is some speculation. I mean, they don't know what's going to happen. But
well, Drew Brees doesn't want to go anywhere else either. He'll work with the organization if it makes sense for him. If they want to keep him, they'll figure it out.
On 3rd and 2, and great pursuit by the Jaguars, getting in the backfield. Tyson Alualu, who's playing in his 95th straight game today. That's the 5th longest streak in franchise history. Makes that tackle. It's 4th down.
You're right. I mean, and when push comes to shove, Drew Brees is going absolutely nowhere here in New Orleans. I mean, it is a precarious situation. It is an enormous cap hit, and there's no question they're going to try to do something better. But even if Drew Brees were not a great guy and didn't want to work with the organization, they're going to give him the money. They can't let him out the door.
Well, here's the only thing.
In my opinion.
They have $154 million in cap obligations next year. That's the second most in the NFL behind Miami. So they have a lot of decisions that they have to make, and a lot of it's going to be on Breeze to try to help out in that department.
Well, you talk about the hit, and you obviously need a lot of players, a lot of holes to fill, especially defensively. You know, you're going to have some money to bring in those type of free agents, so you have to structure restructure contracts like Breeze and get your veteran players to kind of go along with the plan.
So after the timeout by the Saints, Forbath will come out to attempt a field goal with 2:53 to go. Breeze will turn 37 years old next month. 28-yard attempt for Forbath, who joined the Saints in Week 7 after he was cut Week 1 by Washington, and it's blocked by Jacksonville. Goes out of bounds at the 13-yard line. So the Jags are able to block that kick, and they'll get the ball back with 2:47 to go. Special teams coming up big for Jacksonville, hoping for a late rally here in New Orleans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by National Mortgage Lender Quicken Loans, Home Buy, Refi, Power, and by Verizon. Better matters.
Tyson Alu credited with that blocked field goal, so Jacksonville gets the ball back at the 20-yard line. Bortles to the air on first down to Denard Robinson, and he gets 5 yards on the catch, and now Jacksonville will run some no huddle. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. Bortles to Hearns. He's got the first down. Couple of crazy stats that look to be continuing unless Jacksonville has a miracle rally. In their last 15 road games, they came in with just 1 win. So they'll go to 1-15 in their last 16 road games as Bortles pump fakes, takes a deep shot down the sideline, and it's incomplete. Was looking for Marquise Lee. Also, in their last 16 games against the NFC, now 17 with the Saints, just 1 win. They have 1 win against the conference in the last 4 years. That win was last year against the Giants.
This was a shot right there where Blake Bortles had a chance to get Marquise Lee over the top. Bortles got a little bit caught up in trying to pump fake the other way and underthrew that one. That could have been a quick strike again. But yeah, the struggles Jacksonville has had against the NFC, and in particular the NFC South this year, it doesn't get much worse than that.
About to go 0-4 against the NFC South this year. 2-minute warning in New Orleans. Tonight on CBS begins with a special edition of 60 Minutes, a collection of memorable mob stories, followed by a new undercover boss and CSI, only CBS. Very quickly, want to wish our AD Brian Jagoda a very happy 33rd birthday. We call him Jags, and he's having a better day than these Jags. They trail 38-19, 2 minutes to go. Bortles out of the shotgun to Allen Robinson, and Robinson out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Bortles closing in on 300 yards. He's 21 of 29 for 284. Jaguars will play Week 17 at Houston in a game that could be very meaningful for the Texans. There's a chance they could clinch the division tomorrow night with a Cincinnati win, but if not, Houston will have something to play for next week against the Jaguars. That pass is complete inside the 40 to Allen Hearns. A gain of 17, and that puts Bortles over 300 yards.
You know, the thing about Gus Bradley and his team as they go no huddle is the fact that these challenges don't discourage them.
Denard Robinson makes the catch and gets to the 30-yard line.
Gus Bradley is all about using them to get better, and it's just about getting his team to be motivated in the right way and not to be discouraged by things when things go badly.
Well, as we see Robinson
out of bounds at the 20.
Catch. This would be the 4th consecutive year for the Jags with at least 10 losses. But they next week, if they can find a way to win the game next week, that'd get them to 6 wins, which would be the most for the Jaguars since 2010. So that's a nice goal to try and finish out the season.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's an easy barometer, but I think there's no question that Gus Bradley's got this team headed in the right direction. Wins and losses aside, is he going to be given enough time to get it completely where he wants it to be?
Bortles, end zone to Hearns. It's caught for a touchdown. Number 2 on the day for Allen Hearns. He now has 10 touchdowns on the season.
I'll tell you what, this Jacksonville offense, I mean, say what you want about Drew Brees, and he has earned one of the all-time greats. But this offense with these young receivers, and you can't wait to see them have a full season when they're playing at this level.
They need to get some stability at running back. That's a position offensively, but everywhere else offensively, they've got young guys that have got very, very bright futures.
So Jacksonville will go for 2 again. They're 0 for 2 on 2-point conversions today. This would make it an 11-point game, and they've got this one. It's caught by Clay Harbor. So now they're down a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. We'll be expecting an onside kick here for Jacksonville. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Jaguars visiting the Saints with Steve Tasker and Steve Berline. I'm Andrew Catalon. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast.
You know, we spent some time with Gus Bradley. We've covered a lot of games for Jacksonville over the years, and he's got this unique Far East mandolin music and incense burning kind of philosophy thing, but you mix that with a guy who's so positive and lives his life like he lives on energy drinks, and you mix that together, and it really seems to be taking shape in Jacksonville. His team has started to embrace it, his leaders have started to embrace it, and now he's getting some really good players on his team. I think it's an exciting time. They're going to take it on the chin here, it looks like, in New Orleans, but no question, you look at Jacksonville and Oakland and some of these teams with young quarterbacks up and coming, the landscape's going to change in the AFC with teams like this.
Well, players like Allen Hearns, who just set the record there for most touchdowns for an undrafted free agent receiver, the bottom line is that no matter what happens, we know Gus Bradley's not going to be discouraged.
Myers, the onside kick. They're 0 for 4 this year on onside kicks. It goes out of bounds. And a flag comes in. Not only is Hearns now have the most touchdowns of any undrafted player in his first 2 seasons, he also has the most yards of any wide receiver undrafted in his first 2 seasons, passing Wayne Chrebet, the former Jet. Jacksonville now 0 for 5 on onside kicks this year.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team. Ball will be placed at the spot where it went out of bounds. New Orleans ball, first down.
Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS rings out the regular season with a doubleheader, and the lineup will be determined according to flex scheduling. So check your local listings. But it all begins no matter what with your Super Bowl 50 team. JB, Bart, Tony, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL today. Jaguars have 2 timeouts. Drew Brees will take a knee. And Jacksonville has called timeout with 1:10 to go. So Gus Bradley not going down yet.
Well, on the other side, Drew Brees, you look at the stretch he's put together here with Sean Payton, pretty unbelievable. Second in the NFL in points over that span. They only had 2 titles overall the last couple of decades, and now they put together a world championship team here together, and you know, those 2 guys are pretty special human beings, not let alone football people.
And again, as Bradley calls another timeout, the arrow indicates that both Brees and Payton will be back here next year. But we just talked about Drew Brees and that large cap hit that the Saints will have to swallow next year. And Sean Payton, as we told you earlier, our Jason Lockenfora reported today that the Colts and Dolphins have been interested in trading for Payton. Lockenfora also said that the Chargers and Giants would be of interest to Sean Payton if those jobs became available. And It's strange, but if Peyton is to leave, the guy that could be on the New Orleans sideline next year is a guy on the Jacksonville sideline right now, and that's Doug Marrone, the former Buffalo coach. Played for the Saints in 1989, and he was the New Orleans offensive coordinator for 3 years from 2006 to 2008. There's some talk that he'll be a hot coaching candidate this offseason and has a very good relationship already with Saints GM Mickey Loomis. So many moving parts in the next couple of weeks with the regular season coming to an end, but there'll be a lot to look out for here in New Orleans, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, if we don't, but Steve Berline, I think you agree with me, if we own the Saints, that guy and that guy are not going anywhere. Sean Payton and Drew Brees are linchpins of the entire organization.
Well, you know, the line would be very long, and the phone was
timeout.
New Orleans takes their last timeout, but the phone would be ringing immediately for Sean Payton. He would have unlimited opportunity. Drew Brees, a little different story because of where he's at in his career and the amount of money it would take to bring him in. But I'm sure he would have no trouble finding a home somewhere against a team that is just looking for a quarterback.
Sean Payton would immediately become the highest paid coach in the NFL if he became a free agent for any reason.
Told us yesterday, just built a house in this area, likes it here. His son lives in nearby Dallas. He gets to visit him a lot. So there's a lot of things, again, that point to Peyton being back. But you never know in the NFL. This is just the second punt today for Thomas Morstead. It goes into the end zone for a touchback. So the Jaguars will get the ball at the 20 with 20 seconds remaining. New Orleans closes out the season next week at Atlanta. And the Falcons are still alive after their win over Carolina earlier today.
Well, not many people saw that coming. I really felt like the table was set for the Carolina Panthers to go 16-0 going at Atlanta and then coming home week 17 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you know what? Again, as I stated earlier, I think it's probably going to end up being a good thing for Carolina, but Atlanta does still have a little bit to breathe.
Bortles to Hearns, spins away from one. Hearns tackled at the 30. Jacksonville does not have any timeouts remaining.
Yeah,
so
this
they'll
may
hustle
be
to the line, and this could be it.
This will be a lateral play where they'll keep it alive.
Denard Robinson makes the catch at the 35. He's tackled at the 47, and that will do it. The Saints win it 38-27. Tonight on CBS begins with a special edition of 60 Minutes, followed by a new Undercover Boss and CSI, only CBS. For Steve Tasker, Steve Berline, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from New Orleans. Once again, the Saints beat the Jaguars 38-27. You have been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. So long from New Orleans.